see a few hands up. There's got to be more guests than that in this room.
Thank you, President Moore. I'm pleased to have our granddaughter, one of our granddaughters, Hollis Hancock, visit with us.
Thank you, President Mark. I'd like to introduce Pop Fincher. He's my business partner. He's also a member of the Peabody Educational Foundation. And he's going to audit the program. Thank you.
Well, we probably didn't do that. Anthony.
I'm privileged to have Ben Jenkins Funeral Home. I want to introduce him.
Okay. Do we have any more guests? Guests or Rotarians? Do we have any announcements? Headed towards you, Ben.
I have, in my, I guess, not knowing what I'm doing stage of my life, which is half of it, agreed to be PTA president of Jenkins Elementary School. So, if anyone out there has any interest in elementary school children, I could definitely use some help with some committees. We also have a beautification day coming up on August 22nd at the school. If anyone has a green thumb that would like to come out for a few hours, I could certainly use the help. And there's a misnomer in this community that Jenkins is wealthy, and that is not true. I'm here to tell you that we are second to last in the county on technology. When I heard that, my mouth dropped. I did not even think that we would be last in anything, but we're second to last, but we are. So, for all you elementary age minds out there, if you're interested in helping, please let me know. We have room for you.
Thank you, Beth. Just as a reminder, we started a new policy this year. If you make an announcement that does not involve Rotary, it will cost you $1 in the bucket, the blue bucket. Does anybody else have any announcements? No, just you're good.
At your tables, if you don't want me to badger you to death, and I know you don't, sign. There's places in there for us to sign for spoke articles, and we don't need but a few, but so all of you wonderful people who have had so much experience in Rotary over the years should be sharing that with all of us. I look forward to it. So anyway, I just wanted to remind you, it's on the table to sign it. I'll pick it up. Please do. And thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. Phil Dodd had forwarded an article about polio that was written by a Rotarian, and it was in the op-ed piece in the Charlotte Observer, and I have a copy of it right here. If anybody would like to see it after the meeting, it's right on the corner of the table. Also wanted to remind you, there's still 5 or 6 opportunities to volunteer for the Rug Bug Theater. We still have some open spots, John? Got you with the mouthful.
We've got 5 more performances tomorrow, Saturday, and next Thursday through Saturday.
Tomorrow, Saturday, and next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
So there is some opportunities. Again, that was one of the things that we donated money to. And because of that, we got invited to the annual K Awards, which is next Saturday at the Community Theater.
This Saturday
at 8 p.m. And there's just they request a $5 donation per person. Social hour begins at 7. There'll be a cash bar, a light hors d'oeuvres, and dancing following the program. So if anybody would like to attend that, I'll leave that up here if anybody would like more details as far as that. Just a reminder, I know everybody will come back next week, even though there'll be 54 cards in the deck, for District Governor Billy Black visit. So hopefully we'll have great attendance for her. Everybody will come, even though you can't win $2,500 next week. On your tables, or most of the tables, there is a schedule. It's a little half sheet of some of the events that we have planned this year for Rotary. So just take a look at that. We'll be putting that out every now and then as we get more events throughout the year. LR tailgates on there. We have a date at the Salt Block in May, so there's some different things beyond just our regular meeting schedule. reminder, the board, we're gonna have a short 10-minute meeting. We'll meet right over here. We'll put all these chairs over there in a circle. Just 10 minutes right after this meeting, if board members can stick around for that. Dan Kirby has handed me a naughty list. We have some folks that owe dues still. So if you think you're on the list, come see me afterwards. I'll have that list up here.
Can't win the pot unless you pay your dues, right?
You can't win the pot if you're on this list. So you might want to rethink your number of tickets you bought. That's right. Do we have any other announcements? Sunshine Committee, Clarence Pugh.
Thank you very much. Coach, let me apologize. I should have spoken to you ahead of time, but my wife called me a moment ago and I'm going to have to scoot, so I'm not going to be able to enjoy your presentation, but we will enjoy tackle football all season long, so good luck to you on that. Alan Huffman and Mitzi Gilman, please stand up. Both these folk have birthdays this week on August the 4th. And they will be at the door here getting the traditional birthday hugs. So as you leave, don't forget to give them a birthday hug. They need it. Speaking of Alan, he and Barry had a little tiff not too long ago, and Barry wanted to buy a piece of folk art. Alan wanted to buy a piece of pottery, so they couldn't agree. So Barry called her mother and said, Alan is being ugly to me again, and I'm coming to live with you. And she said, oh no. We have got to make Alan understand that his mistakes, and he's got to pay for them. I'm coming to live with you. So how's that working out for you, Alan? And a husband and a wife were having a conversation. The wife came in and said they're having trouble with the car. The carburetor has water in it. And the husband said, water in the carburetor? That's ridiculous. You don't even know what a carburetor is. I'll tell you, there is water in the carburetor. Well, I'll go check it out. Where is the car? It's in the pool. I understand, I wasn't here last week, but I understand that we had a lot of drama over the lottery. And somebody gave me this note that I want to share with the group. So I hope you'll listen up, hope you'll find it somewhat interesting because some of this we've always suspected, but perhaps this affirms some of the things we were thinking. It should be noted, and this is the way the note reads, it should be noted that the past 2 weeks have presented high drama as the membership has sought out the elusive Ace of Spades, a lottery conducted in support of one of the club's most popular projects, education. During the past 2 weeks, the Dream Team table has been given the opportunity to close out the lottery. And the 2 members who have represented the team in those drawings were indeed 2 of this club's most active and motivational members, both possessing exceptional psychic abilities and without a doubt, the skill to bring that Ace of Spades to the top had it been their desire to do so. However, recognizing the energy and the attendance that these final weeks have brought to our meetings, and realizing that the longer the card remains hidden, the more dollars would be added to the funds benefiting educational projects. And while the final totals will not be known until later today, it is safe to say that over $1,000 has been added to the pot during these final 3 weeks. not to mention the excitement, enthusiasm, and wild celebrations when one fails to find the card. What a great time for our club, knowing that our young people will be the ultimate beneficiaries of the support gained from these weekly lotteries and the failed attempts to find the ace. So in closing, we want to say an additional thank you for the Dream Team table and its designated representatives for taking one for the club and education as we arrive in this final week of searching for the ace of spades. History has been made over the past year with these 52 cards, probably in a way that will not be matched in the future. However, the suspense ends today. This is my story, and we're sticking to it. Signed, Anonymous. So for all those who drew a free lunch over the past 51 weeks, stand up and be recognized for being a good loser for the benefit of the club. All those of you who failed, I'm sorry, 53 weeks with the two jokers in there. So with that, somebody today will be celebrating. And Cliff Moon said if you don't have anything to do, come over to his house and we'll watch the TV together tonight. So go Bears.
Thank you, Clarence and Anonymous, for sharing that with us. I forgot to mention, we do need a Polio Plus chair this year. If anybody has an interest in that, please see me. Don't all rush up at once, but we could use some help there. And with that, Neil has our program today.
President Mark, I'm Clarence's wingman. I have a punchline for you in a second, but I got to set it up. We have our CEO, Dwayne Powell, with a PhD in mathematics here today. We have our CFO in Peter Kendall, a member, and we have our Vice President for Advancement, all things financial at Lenore, Drew Van Horn. And in keeping with that, and okay, where'd my prop go? What are you looking for? Keeping with that, yeah. Go Lottery.
Fair to all concerned.
Front page above the fold today in the Hickory Daily Record, Ian Shields' likeness and his nationally publicized comments on the South Atlantic Conference media relations yesterday. Just off the press, 48 hours, Sports Illustrated, 'tis the season, college football. And Monday to lead off, we always want to be front page and above the fold. The South Atlantic Conference coaches, there are 8 of them, and they picked the Bears #1. So, that and $2.15 will buy you a cup of coffee. I'm going to tell you 2 things you don't know, and you're going to meet Ian. One, it's not in his bio that he is the ultimate ball coach. Both hands in the dirt until we got field turf. He'll talk about that. But he is a coach's coach. He's all in, both sides of the ball. And if Stas was standing here today, or any of Ian's predecessors, they would take the schedule out and look at it and say, I've studied the schedule, I don't see a game that I can win. But here's what you want to know about Ian Shields. There's only one game on the entire schedule that he faces, and that is the next game. Please join me in a warm welcome for Ian Shields.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you to everyone here for your attendance today. I know your time is valuable, and I also want to thank you for the work you do here at the Rotary Club here in Hickory. It's an exciting time of the year. It's the most exciting time of the year for those in our profession. Now, that being said, everybody's excited because every team in the country is undefeated right now. The preseason pundits and prognosticators, those are typically writers that never played football, or football coaches have been fired from coaching football. So I don't put a lot of stock in the preseason publications or anything. It's a great compliment to the previous teams at Lenoir-Rhyne, but it has very little to do with the 2015 squad. That being said, we're excited about this upcoming season. But before I start talking about our team or this season, it's an exciting time for Lenoir-Rhyne University. There's been a lot of great work being done to get us all to this point. And that starts with any great organization, in my opinion, with two key components. One is a vision. Right? And we have a visionary as a leader in Dr. Wayne Powell. When times were down and when times were hard at Lenoir-Rhyne, he came in with a vision. And Mr. Neil McGahee, our athletic director. Two great visionaries that gave us a vision, so now it's a hard time for others when they play us. So we had a great vision set, and that vision is continuing. As Neil says, there is no finish line. There's not, especially in our industry. There is no finish line. There is no off season. We're always working hard to get better. The other thing we need is a commitment. To be successful in the organization needs a great commitment. And we have total commitment from our administration, from our faculty, certainly from our student athletes, from my coaching staff, who makes me look a lot smarter than I really am. All right? There's a lot of people that roll their sleeves up and go to work every day and put on their work gloves so we can accomplish great things. All right? And it all starts at the top, as it does in any organization. I'm fortunate to work at a place where they care about, as we would say, tackle football. Okay? Because I've been at other institutions where that's not necessarily the case. And it's lip service. Here, there's a real commitment to football, and Bear Nation is strong. Those either been to Moret Stadium on a Saturday afternoon or evening know what a special environment that is. Quite frankly, I didn't know what to expect last season going into my first year. When you roll in there and it's a real tailgate. You know, there's smoke going, people going crazy, screaming. I don't know what half of them are saying, but it's fun. And I try not to listen too hard, I promise you. My wife tells me not to. But it's been a blessing to be here, to be hired here, to work with our administration, our faculty, and most importantly, the student athletes we're privileged to coach. Okay, we have an unbelievable group of young men in our locker room. We're going to bring 153 here to training camp, which I know seems like a lot. But we're going to bring 153 young men to training camp here on Tuesday. So we're busy right now. I was talking to Mark earlier. I said, it's like we're juggling flaming chainsaws right now. We're trying to get ready for this season and put our best foot forward and secure another championship ring and win the South Atlantic Conference Championship and compete for a national championship. That's where our vision is as a football program, to win championships. And we think we have a squad that's capable of doing that. But there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of practices and games to get to where we want to go. Aside from the football, we have a special group, and I'll talk a few instances to tell you how special our guys are. We're involved, and many in this room know, we're heavily involved in this community. The Lenoir-Rhyne Bears, in particular our football team, is out in the community. Okay? We've done 8 to 10 community service public profile deals that have been well documented. We've done a walk for type 1 diabetes. Obviously, I have a selfish interest there because my 10-year-old son is type 1 diabetic. We've done walks for pediatric cancer. We've done a read-along program in the school system. We did work with Habitat for Humanity. We did work in Newton Conover, moving things from the library and back, and there was a lot of lifting for our guys as they didn't do work out that day. But so we've been out there. I'm probably missing about 10 other things our guys have done and don't get publicized enough. So I'm proud of our young men for getting out there in the community and making Hickory their own. Academically, our guys are thriving. I know there's a lot of bad press in the papers, and you know that becomes a reality, obviously, because you're reading it, and there's so many good things. That story is not getting told nationally, with all the great college athletes that are doing great things all the time. Academically, we had 50 players over a 3.0 GPA last semester. We had 18 players on our squad with over a 3.5 GPA last semester. And we had 2 young men that had perfect 4.0s. We had 24 guys on the conference academic honor roll. We had 1 academic All-American who is a repeat, who now is a full-time coach with me, because he's really smart. I need him. So like I said, there's a lot of great things being done there, and that's led us into this summer currently. That's obviously ending here shortly. We've had the best summer that we've ever had, or that I've ever known LR to have had. We've had this past summer session, which began July, we've had 55 players on our team in town working, okay? Getting jobs from some of you here in the community, okay? Jobs on campus, okay? Jobs, all over the place, wherever they can find. We had young men with the crawdads, actually. We've had people all over the community working so they put a little pocket money, so they can buy, Bojangles, what are they gonna do, all right, and get some food. And then they're also lifting, right? And they're training, and it's real college football. And that commitment is tremendous, and that's what it's gonna take to get us to the next level. And we also have guys getting ahead academically, where they can get a course or 2 this summer, so possibly they can take 15 units instead of 18 units, or 12 instead of 15, depending on what those classes are, so they can underload slightly during the course of the season. All right, so there's some great work being done with our guys academically. And this summer has been a tremendous summer. We made great gains in the what we call the Collision Enhancement Center, aka the weight room. All right, and we have guys making great gains in there, and I believe we're ready for this season, which leads me into this season. And then when I get done here, y'all could probably fire a few questions off him. I know there might be a few, Bob. But this 15 season, we're going to be a young football team. We lost 25 great seniors, some of the most decorated players in the history of Lenore-Ryan University. People are used to listening to Gerard Spears or Ike Whitaker or Blake Baker or O'Neal Blake. They're used to hearing those names, and they're gone. Guys that really set a footprint that'll be lasting forever, and their pictures are on the wall, and there'll probably be a statue of them up shortly. We've lost some great players. That being said, we are going to have a young team. We only have 11 seniors next year. All right, in college football, that's typically about less than half of what you really optimally like to have. All right, so that's a challenge for us as a football program to have only 11 seniors. Now there are 11 strong seniors, and I think our rising junior and sophomore and go on are some very athletic, talented classes. But we do have some leadership opportunities in front of us here going forward. So it's going to take a great job by that senior class, the rising seniors, and our coaching staff to get this young football team where we aspire to be. I was joking with Coach Banks. He coaches our slot backs. He also handles our equipment. I said, when equipment day comes and they get here, we got to get them all in the right shoulder pads. We got to get them all in the right helmets. We probably need to get some diapers and some binkies out too, because we're going to be young. We're going to be very young. Another challenge in front of us, aside from our youth, is our schedule. We open up, and we might be the only team in the country, we open up with 4 road games with a young football team. The first game is at Westchester, up in the Philadelphia area. Westchester will be a top 20 team coming out the gate. We may be, or I think we probably will be, but that poll comes out, I believe, next week. Regardless, I know Westchester was 11-2 last year. They're a playoff team, and they're anxious to dance with us. And it was a challenge to get that game because, quite frankly, nobody left in the country wanted to play the Bears. So there was 2 teams in the country when we had to find a game because Concord, who was originally on the schedule in West Virginia, joined another conference and wouldn't play us. There's only 2 teams in the country willing to play us. Ferris State, who was a 1 seed up in Michigan, which is a 16-hour drive, or Westchester and Philadelphia, which would have been a 9-hour drive, or it's going to be on a bus. So we're going to Westchester, and it'll be a great contest, and I think see that as an opportunity for our young football team to go challenge ourselves on the road and see where we need to improve and maybe where we're better than we thought we might have been. But again, a great challenge to start the season with 4 road games. I do think we'll be a talented team. We do have 6 returning starters on both sides of the football. Both our short snapper, our long snapper, and our all-conference, second-team all-conference punter is back. We need to replace our kicker, who was all-conference and all-American last year, and Justin Powell. We're going to miss Justin. But we have some guys kind of fighting at the bat rack to figure out who that next guy is going to be. Offensively, the question I get asked most often is, well, who's your quarterback going to be? Well, that's a pretty important piece of the puzzle typically in football. But I think we're in good hands with Evan Sims. You know, Evan got quality playing time last year. Played the bulk of the Morris Hill game at home. Week 7 when Miles Freeman went down with an ankle injury. His first college start for Evan was the next week on the road against some itty bitty squad in Tennessee. I think it was Carson Newman they call it. All right, and Evan went over there and won in his first start in a pretty hostile environment. And so I think we're in good hands with Evan. He's also a sprinter on our track team, and I think you will see him sprinting quite often in football with the ball tucked under his arm this year. He is fast, and he's an explosive player and a great student as well, and a great ambassador for our program. And I think we have three years in front of us of watching Evan do a lot of great things. So I think we're in good shape there. Michael Patrick is also back in our backfield. He was all conference last year, and he's back at running back, and I think those two in the backfield will lean on. And then certainly up front offensively, it seems like he's probably been here for 100 years, but Joe Ray is back on the offensive line at tackle, who is a 2-time first-team All-American and 2-time Jacobs Trophy winner for the top lineman in the conference. And Joe is back for his final season with us, and expect nothing less than another first-team All-American performance from Joe. And we have a bunch of other great players to talk about. I think defensively, frankly, that'll be the strength of our team this year. We're loaded defensively. Not to put all the pressure on Coach Casey, our defensive coordinator, who does a tremendous job. But we have 3 of our 4 starters in our defensive front back. We have an excellent linebacker core led by Jordan Forney. And both of our safeties are back, Chris Schaefer and Marcus Kincaid, that are exceptional football players. So we're excited about this season, excited to get everybody, get you all out there in support, and join Bear Nation if you're not already in it. Join the PEF Club, the Bears Club if you're not already in it, and get your tail in the seats and start yelling like crazy, and get your tickets now because they're going to go fast. Okay, thank you, and go Bears.
Do you have any questions for Coach? Bernie?
Coach, with the new turf field being put in, going from grass to turf, what preparations are you having to do different with the guys as far as training or anything like that to prepare for the new service?
Thank you for that question. When I was speaking of vision and commitment, I had that particular item in mind, and I probably should have delved further into that. If anyone's driven by Moret Stadium, it got a significant facelift here recently with the addition of field turf, which is, as we say in comparison, it's the Lamborghinis of artificial surface. Talking with a rep who actually just put the field in the other day, we have the exact same turf, the exact different coloring, but the exact same turf as the Notre Dame just put down. All right, it's a world-class facility we have, and a lot of thanks go around to Dr. Powell, Peter Kendall, Drew Van Horn, Neil, to make that a possibility. Certainly some alums that did a bulk of the work as well to finance that field. It's beautiful, and I'd encourage you guys to all drive by and take a look around. It's a game changer. It helps us in recruiting, okay, because that speaks to commitment, and recruits want to see a commitment to the program. It's going to help not only our football program, but our lacrosse programs, men's and women's, so we do not lose valuable practice time. So we're not playing on a substandard field where they're slipping and subjecting themselves to injury out playing in adverse conditions. It's going to help us in spring football when occasionally here it gets a little cold. I found out it's not West Point cold, but it'll snow here occasionally and get some frost and it'll freeze up. The studies have found, it's different than the old days. The old turf, when I was playing at Oregon State, and I know at App State they had the same type of surface, it was just green concrete. It was all it was. It was hard. It was nasty. You come off and you're missing half your arm. And I still got scars. And you probably had a couple extra concussions or something because your head got slammed against it really hard. It's different these days. The science, the technology is not just a generation removed. It's probably 2 or 3 generations removed. And it's actually safer now than the natural grass for its playability. So we're excited about that. And the reality is our guys don't treat it any differently than grass now. It plays like grass. They use the same cleats they wear if they played on grass. So, and obviously that helps the budget too, because you wear the same cleats. So it's a beautiful service. I think we already have a fast team, but I think this new field will accentuate what we recruit to, speed and explosiveness across the board, and give us a great service to play on, and something we can all be proud of. So we're thrilled with the new surface, and our players that, we just, and metaphorically, we're handed the keys the other day to get out and get on it, and our players have been out taking some test drives on it. The kickers are out there because they're curious, and all of our returners that are here are out there with our captain's practice, running around and throwing and catching, and like I said, taking it for a test drive, having some fun with it. But we're thrilled with the new surface. Great question, thank you.
David?
Coach, do you get to redshirt most of the freshmen, or are you playing some true freshmen?
No, in the last, I'll go back to prior to when I was here. The previous class when I was here played 3 true freshmen, 2 of which were specialists, and 1 was Rodney Singleton, who's an all-conference linebacker for us. And they brought in 48 players that year. This past year we brought in 52 players, and we had 1 true freshman play, Calvin Edwards, who we expect to be a key player for us to slot back this year. He's an explosive player and a good player. So by and large, our program's to the point now where we have the luxury to redshirt the entire class. And there may be an occasional exception, and we don't blanket that as a rule and say you're going to redshirt, but we're pretty upfront in the recruiting process so guys know how valuable that redshirt is for them. And reflecting back, and the program wasn't as strong 4 or 5 years ago, it certainly wasn't. But if you look at the last year's senior class we had, you look at Ike Whitaker, was an All-American at fullback, Joe Anderson at corner, Blake Baker, well no, Blake did redshirt, Gerard Spears. There's a bunch of these names I'm naming that were all conference last year that should be back right now for their 5th year, but none of them redshirted because the program wasn't in a place where they could afford to redshirt them. So you're much healthier at the college level to have the ability to redshirt and develop guys because it's quite a change from a high school senior to go play at the level we're playing at. I'm not just talking on the field, to be away from mom and dad, to be challenged academically, and not that they're on their own, we're with them and their tutors and their professors are with them, but it's a huge change, and it's a culture change for those guys. And then you talk about there's a huge difference between an 18-year-old and a 22 or 23-year-old man with a beard. There's just physically a huge difference in our game. So I think it's, in our opinion, the red shirt would behoove typically all of them. So thank you. Bob.
Coach, you guys have had some success over the last couple of years running the ball. Is there any truth to the rumor you're going to be throwing a lot more this year?
Well, that's a trick question. We will be throwing the ball quite a bit in warm-ups. And so if you want to get there early, and if you want to see the Bears throw the ball, you just need to get there a little bit earlier. Get out of your tailgate, have one less cerveza, and get over there and watch us firing around. So, and you might want to bring a hard cat because sometimes we don't know where it's going. We'll throw it like this and like that to our pitchbacks, and then occasionally we'll try and trick the opposition with a forward pass. We heard that's legal now. So, but we are going to play to our strengths. We're a running football team. We're an option football team, and we did set the all-time national record at the Division II level for rushing for 416 yards a game. And with the group we have coming back, let's try and get to 500 or something crazy and put up some video game numbers.
Out of the 153 bringing to camp, how many will see significant playing time?
To your right. Out of the 153 we're bringing to camp, how many will see significant playing time? And that's a two-part answer. They're all going to see significant playing time. Most of them will be on the practice field, but it's significant. We need that. And every player on our team is valuable, and every role is valuable, from the 6th-string right tackle to the 1st-string quarterback. They're all valuable. But typically when we travel to an away game, we'll travel with a party of 68 to 70. And most of those guys will get dirty in the course of a contest on the road, either offensively, defensively, or in the kicking game. Charles.
I've heard that new field has an irrigation system. If that's true, why?
Well, so there's not standing water, I guess would be the obvious answer. And I know it drains exceptionally fast. And I'm not the project engineer by any stretch. I was a speech communication major at Oregon State, not an engineering major. But I know it drains exceptionally fast, and possibly Neil could expand upon that. But I do know it goes right through, and there's no chance of anything standing. And some of you were at a couple games, particularly the Point game, our opener, and it was it was borderline hurricane levels there. I mean, the shutters were blown off the doors. There was an electrical outage. The field there was standing water on, and we're fortunate a lot of them we got off there. But we won't have that challenge anymore, and it's just going to help us from a playability standpoint. And certainly, as you look down the road, optimally, it helps us get another home game when we're talking Division II playoffs.
Any other questions? Folks, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your vote of thanks to be shared with the coaches and the players. So, but thank you again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right. Dan? I'd like to thank Collis, Ben, and Bob for joining us today, and Floyd, Wayne, and Robert for making up with us today. Please make up any time. As a reminder, the online makeup instructions are in the spoke. Also, don't forget to put your coins or dollars in the Alzheimer's research bucket. And next week, if you bring $1 to put in the bucket, we're going to have another contest, a chance to win a free lunch next week. So make sure you bring some singles next week to put in the bucket. Something to draw some crowd. I know half you won't be here. So, come on. Show up for the district governor. We need to show up strong for her. As a reminder, Anthony, is Anthony Starr here? He told me last week, 1.92% chance to get down to one card. So, Dan's. All right, we got a temporary delay here. Too many tickets in the bucket for a change. A new all-time high in receipts today, $804. I think it took us about 10 weeks to get there to begin with. For a grand total of $5,689. So half of that's about $28.44.50, I think. In case you haven't heard, there is one card left. And no free lunch. I'm sorry, but whoever wins will not be taking home a free lunch tonight. All right. Coach is getting ready to find his newest LR football donor. I'll read all 6 digits, just drag it out as long as possible. Notice nobody's leaving early today. We'd probably stay here till 2 o'clock. No one would go. 3, 2, 2. Beth, you out? I take it. 1. No. 7. 7. No. Check my own tickets. No luck. 3, 2, 2, 1. 7. 7. We're just gonna have to carry it over to next week, I guess. Neil might be checking till next week. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 7, 7.
That was off the second roll, so that was later.
Off the second roll. So if you bought late.
Going once. Clarence? 3, 2, 2, 1, 7, 7.
Neil's got it.
We got a winner.
Congratulations, Neil. Gotta give it back to Dan.
Thanks, Coach.
Where's the auditor? Somebody said they're gonna audit this. Coach drew it for his boss. I don't know about that. Alright. Let's close with the four-way test, which is back on my right again, and your left. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships?